what I'm looking at. So this is the one you probably want to pay attention more than the other three. But let's talk about the challenges of the estate system. I think I've already created a really strong argument that the bourgeoisie naturally oppose the estate system. It granted the nobles and clergy far too much privilege and identified the bourgeoisie as the lower class. I think we can all agree Bill Gates, bourgeois, probably not part of the lower class because we don't have the estate system. But in France, with that estate system, it's going to be the social system that impedes the development. And I want to talk about two guys, Rousseau and Quesnay. And I do believe the way I look at them and the way I argue the detail, you can see how to manipulate P3s. But let's go ahead and talk about the Philosophe view on the estate system. It was arbitrary, without reason. Why do the nobles have such privilege? And the clergy, why are they in the upper classes? What do they do to deserve it? Do they produce wealth? Not at all. They're a medieval, antiquated, archaic social class system that should disappear. Why were the bourgeoisie, the economic leaders in the modern era, deemed the lower class? These were the pressures of the estate system. Now, Rousseau's. The first one we're going to look at Rousseau's on the origin of inequality of mankind. This is I have read this back in about 25 years ago. It's a really interesting read because what he's trying to do is he's trying to figure out why is there poverty in a modern society? Why are there haves and have-nots? And he's going to conclude some things here. He believed it was based on the first lie. Go back. There's a nice excerpt there you need to read. Don't skip excerpts, especially when you're talking about books, right? But what we see here is it's undeveloping. He says, what happens? We are in the state of nature. We're living cooperatively. We're high-fiving each other. We're working together to kind of survive. And then one day, a guy deems himself a noble. And he deems himself noble because he claims land. This is my land. Well, all of a sudden, once you restrict that land, the other lesser people became frustrated. And they're like, wait a minute, that's not your land, it's our land. And he goes, no, it's my land. No, it's our land. And that creates a conflict. So what happens? To protect this, the nobility forms a government and social system to help protect the lie of land. Think about that. So therefore, all government and all social systems in nature corrupt because they're all based on the first lie. As we slid in from state of nature to civilization, there is poverty. Therefore, this work challenged the privilege of the nobility and the estate system. Do you see why, even though Rousseau is one of the most famous, I always identify him as one of the big three. I know Dr. Spavogo puts Diderot as one of the big three. I think Diderot is the plus one. I think it's Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau. Despite Rousseau being so famous, he is going to be kind of pushed to the side on that, at least on that, right? But he does challenge it. Now, Quesnay and the estate system. Quesnay, we've already talked about how he viewed it, right? Remember, he opposed the nobility's domination of uncultivated land. He believed that the privilege of the nobility impeded the economic development. So therefore, if you get rid of the estate system, the nobles would be forced to cultivate their land and develop a new society. So therefore, there was no reason for nobles to possess such privilege. And in the end, that is the challenge to the estate system. Rousseau bases it on the first lie. Quesnay bases it on the privilege of nobility. And with that said, we are going to finish that quick one. I know this is quick.